starts, we'll start with the session. Yeah, good afternoon and welcome to yet another online tutorial on microwaves and antennas. So we are into module 3 and we were discussing about antenna basics. So yesterday we started with this concept of antennas, right? So we'll just quickly have a recap what we have done yesterday, right? Yesterday, initially we started with definition of antennas, right? So we defined antenna, right? We defined antenna. Then we have seen how to choose an antenna. While choosing an antenna for a particular application, how to do, what are the aspects to be considered. We saw there are mechanical, electrical, as well as structural aspects. So in that, almost all of the electrical aspects are what we are going to study in this particular module, right? Like radiation pattern, half power beam width, beam area, right? All those steps, right? Bandwidth, beam width. That is what we'll be studying here. Then what we did is we just studied different types of antennas, right? Different types of antennas, right? So namely, right, wire antenna. We had traveling wave antenna. Then we had this. What are the other types of antenna? Can anyone just help me recollect? Wire, traveling wave. Then third type, it was aperture type, which I told.
Yes, sir.
Aperture type antenna is there, reflector antenna is there, right? Then antenna array, right? Then which else? Which one did I miss out?
Patch antenna.
Patch antenna, yeah, patch antenna. So those are different types of antennas we have seen, and we have seen which type of antenna we'll be studying in which module. That again, so overall picture about this antenna part of microwaves and antenna we have seen, right? Then we studied about this radiation mechanism, right? We studied about radiation mechanism. So what is the very basic principle of radiation? The very basic principle of radiation is accelerating charge can radiate, right? So we have seen charge at rest will produce an electrostatic field. Charge moving with uniform velocity will produce a static magnetic field as well as electrostatic field, right? And we have seen charge which is accelerating, which can produce radiation, right? Time varying electromagnetic field, which will propagate in free space, right? So it can either be harmonic or transient. We have seen that, and we have seen the basic radiation equation. What was the basic radiation equation? I dot L is equal to Q V dot, right? So this defines the very basic of radiation. It says the time varying current as well as accelerating charge can radiate. So we have seen that, and after that we have seen, right, as per the definition of antenna, and antenna is defined as actually what? Transition region between guided wave and free space wave, right? So as per the definition, antenna is the transition region between guided wave and free space wave. So what we have done is we in depth we went and tried to understand the radiation mechanism, right? So we considered a transmission line, right? An open circuited transmission line, right? So ideally an open circuited transmission line, whatever power is incident, that should be reflected back. So in transmission line we have actually what? Guided wave, right? We have guided wave, we have actually what? Electric or magnetic field here, and corresponding to electric field we have voltage, and magnetic field we have current, right? So this is guided wave. This electromagnetic field is confined within the structure. Two-wire, if it is a two-wire transmission line, it's confined within the structure. It is not propagating freely, right? Why? Because it's restricted by these metallic boundaries, I should say. Yeah. So this is a guided wave. And what happens if it is an open circuit? Right, if it is an open circuit, ideally the entire incident power should have been reflected back. But I told there is a inertial nature of wave, right? So this voltage and current, for it to reflect back, it should change its direction, right? Once it reaches voltage and current wave reaches here, it should change its direction. For that direction to change, voltage and current wave will take some finite time. Right, some time it will take. Maybe it's because of the inertia of wave, we can tell, right? That's not a technically correct statement, but I can tell it's because of inertia of the wave, right? So because of that inertia, or because of that finite time taken for the wave to reflect back, right? In between, what will happen? Some of the power will be leaked, right? Some of the power will be leaked out, right? There will be leakage, right? This leakage is nothing but what? That is called actually what? Radiation, right? That is called radiation. So that leakage is called radiation. So what we can do is we can intentionally introduce this leakage, right? So instead of abruptly truncating a parallel two-wire transmission line, right? We have seen if you introduce a sort of flaring, right? If you introduce a sort of flaring, or if you taper it out, right? If you taper a transmission line out, what happens? It will increase the radiation. So more the flare, right? More will be the radiation, right? Radiation will be more, right? Radiation. This is what we have seen, and this radiation is maximum when flare angle is 180 degree. When 180 degree, we'll get radiation maximum. That is actually what the case of thin linear antennas, a dipole antenna or half wave monopole or whatever it is. It belongs to that category, right? So what happens is what we are giving here. It is a harmonic. Harmonic means when I say the voltage, when I know the voltage like this, what does this mean? So for a fraction of time, right, it will be positive half cycle, and fraction it is negative half cycle. Or voltage or current is like this. Current is sinusoidally varying. What does that mean? During positive half cycle, current is flowing in one particular direction. Right. Negative half cycle, current is flowing in the other direction. Right. That is the meaning of that. And similarly, if it is voltage, positive and negative half cycle means polarity changes. That is the basic idea. So what happens when you are giving sinusoids within a length of transmission line? What may happen within different segments? You may have different polarity of voltage and different polarity of current. Right, that is possible. So maybe you can tell at some instance the potential is positive here and negative here, and some instance prior to that it might have been like this, right? So it will be alternating positive and negative, right? So if there is a positive charge here, there will be equal and opposite negative charge induced here. So electric field will be directed from positive to negative always, right? Electric field will be directed from positive to negative always. So whenever it is tapered out, what happens is this electric field, right, or electromagnetic field, in fact, maybe in the case of a dipole antenna, I'll show what happens to the magnetic field. It will actually say detach, right? It will actually detach from this and leak, right? It will be radiated. Electromagnetic wave will be radiated, right? So the more the tapering, more time will be taken by the voltage and current wave to return back, and it will be radiated. And at some faraway point, if you're keeping an antenna, receiving antenna, if suppose this is transmitting antenna, at some faraway point, if you're keeping a receiving antenna, right? So what happens is here, right, after some distance, right, it may receive some wavefront like this, a wavefront like this, so that this electromagnetic wave will induce voltage and current on this, right? Will induce voltage and current on this, and it's here guided wave. So within this we have guided wave, and this is free space wave, right? So this region of transition, that is actually called antenna. That is the definition of antenna, right? Region of transition between guided wave and free space wave, right? So this antenna can act as a transmitter. If it is acting as a transmitter, guided wave will be converted to free space wave, and if it is acting as a receiver, free space wave will be actually what? Inducing voltage and current on this antenna, and that will be converted to guided wave or electrical signal, right? So that an antenna can act as both transmitter and receiver. Antenna is actually what? It's a reciprocal device, right? Antenna is a reciprocal device. It can act both as a transmitter and receiver, right? So if you see here, right? If you see here, right? So this what happens is suppose some power PT is transmitted by the generator, right? Some P reflected, it is reflected back, and P rad, right? I like simply I'm writing P rad will be radiated, right? So a power is incident, a part is radiated, and remaining part is reflected back. If you can make this antenna impedance exactly same as that of the characteristic impedance of transmission line, then entire PT can be transmitted. That is another thing, right? But now what happens is there will be part of the energy, it is stored in this resonator. It is stored in this, if it is a lossless transmission line, right? Part of the energy stored in this resonator, and remaining part is radiated. So with this idea, I can come up with an equivalent circuit representation of antenna, right? So sum of energy is stored and remaining part is reflected back. So this transmission line part, guided wave part, it acts as a resonator. So that resonator I can represent using an LC, right? An L and C, right? And this transition region, what it does is it radiates the power out, right? It radiates as electromagnetic wave. So normally, if you have to represent it as electrical lump circuit, what I should do is I should represent it as a resistor, right? And I'll call it actually what? Radiation resistance, RR. So this is L, this is C, and this is RR. So this, whatever power is radiated, you can assume it is actually what dissipated as heat across this RR. It's RR or radiation resistance. It is a fictitious resistance, right? Radiation resistance, right? It is not a resistance which exists, like which is connected here like this or not. It's not something like that, right? It is used to signify a part of the power is radiated. That radiated power, right? That power will be equal to what? If you can come up with a resistor, right? If you can come up with a resistor and some heat is dissipated across that, right? Then you can assume this, if you can model this antenna as a resistor which will dissipate some heat, and that heat power is equivalent to what the power radiated, right? So this RR is a radiation resistance, that is a fictitious resistance, but we can find out RR for a dipole antenna, we'll find it is equal to 73 ohm, right? And RR for a short electric dipole, it is 80 pi square by L lambda the whole square. All those steps we'll derive later, but for the time being, you assume, right, this RR is a fictitious resistance, right? It is actually the resistance of the free space, what this say transmission line is seeing, so that it will deliver some of the power to it, right? And this temperature, right, which is equivalent to the power radiated, right, which will produce a heat equivalent to the power radiated, that is actually called antenna temperature, right? This antenna temperature, again, it is actually what some fictitious, right, temperature. So what happens is when an antenna is radiating, right, it will dissipate some heat corresponding to the radiate power. You can assume this is equivalent circuit, right? It is not the actual thing, equivalent circuit representation, right? It's just for our convenience, for mathematical convenience, we are visualizing antenna like this. That's it, right? And if an antenna is receiving, what will happen? Depending upon the temperature of the far away, either an active antenna or far away passive radiations, a heat will be produced in this RR, right? If an antenna is, and there will be a voltage drop, and that will induce a current, and blah 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 blah. So this is one aspect which you have to study. We'll study about radiation resistance in detail in next module, right? When we study about dipole and short dipole and half wave dipole and all, right? We'll study about radiation resistance in detail, right? But just keep in mind this is equivalent circuit. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? So far, any doubt? So this is equivalent circuit representation of an antenna. That is what I just want you to appreciate, right? And one more thing, you can view antenna as a virtual waveguide, right? A virtual transmission line, which will confine the power within this. Say, if the entire power of the antenna is radiated within this beam, it's like a torch which is sending out light within a beam, right? So then this antenna, you can assume it creates some virtual transmission line, right, within which power is confined in free space, right? So you don't have to think about those things. Those are different ways of perceiving it, right? But this equivalent representation, you just remember, right? This LC corresponds to actually what? The power which is stored in this resonator or the lossless transmission line, and this RR, it is corresponding to the power which is radiated, right? Okay, that's it. That's about radiation resistance and all. Now again, we'll come back to this half wave dipole, right? So we told when flare angle is 180 degree, right, there will be maximum radiation. So you can consider half wave dipole, right? Half wave dipole, right? So this length is lambda by 2. This length is lambda by 2, right? Lambda by 2, right? And you can see at any given instance there will be plus here, minus here, or minus here, plus here, right? It will alternate as it is a sinusoid which is given here, is a harmonic which is given here, it will alternate, right? But suppose if it is plus and minus here, we can draw the, yesterday even I have drawn the, say the voltage distribution. Voltage at the ends will be actually what? Maximum, and almost when it reaches, so this length will be actually what? This length will be lambda by 4. This will be lambda by 4, right? So at a distance of lambda by 4, you will get a voltage minimum, first voltage minimum, right? And here it will be actually what? Negative maximum, right? So the voltage distribution will be like this, right? This will be the voltage distribution along the transmission line, right? So if it is lambda by 2, I told here it will be plus V and here it will be minus V. So there will be maximum potential difference if it is lambda by 2, right? So it can be smaller than lambda by 2, not a problem. Even then it can radiate, but the potential difference and hence the field produced will be less. And if it is greater than lambda by 2, what happens is there will be side lobes produced. If it is greater than lambda by 2, what happens is the field, it will be something like this, right? So there will be a minima somewhere in between. So there will be actually what? Different lobes, right? Maybe those things we'll discuss in detail in third module, right? So this is the voltage distribution. This is the voltage distribution, and if you want me to draw the current distribution will be something like this, right? So the current will be minimum at the ends, right? And it will be maximum at a distance lambda by 4, right? Current maximum. So this is a current distribution. So because of this, there will be actually what? Electric and magnetic fields induced on this, right? So this I'll draw just right. So the electric field will be from say positive to negative in like this. Electric field will be like this, either downwards or upwards or whatever, and it will be there in both the directions. It will be there in both the directions. Even though I have shown this part, right, this big, normally it will be some small coaxial cable or something. Using some screw type mechanism, you will be connecting it to antenna. But diagrammatically, I am showing this much big transmission line and all, but it won't interfere with the structure, right? It is just a diagrammatic representation. So electric field will be like this, either upward or downward, right? At times upward and some other times downward, right? And magnetic field will be around this, right? Right, magnetic field will be around it, right? So someone is trying to unmute and tell something. Is there any question? Is there a question? Yeah, fine. So this is how magnetic field will be, right? So what happens is this antenna, it will not radiate towards top and bottom. There won't be any radiation towards top and bottom. Maybe you can assume or you can imagine, right? So towards this end directions, there is destructive interference. The fields are getting cancelled out, right? And during towards these two directions, there will be radiation. So I told antenna radiation pattern will be something like this. Yesterday I had drawn this antenna radiation pattern as this, but today we are going to study in detail what actually is antenna radiation pattern, right? What actually is antenna? So it will in this plane, right? In this plane, the radiation will be like this, and it will be there behind the plane and also in front of the plane. So in this plane, the pattern will be something like a figure of revolution of figure 8. And if you can rotate that figure with respect to this axis, and you will get a figure of revolution like a donut or meduvade or a pumpkin or an apple or whatever, right? So that will be the actual radiation pattern. But what actually is that radiation pattern, right? That is what we are going to study next. We are going to study next what is radiation pattern. That is the next topic, right? So radiation pattern, very, very important topic. It will tell us, right, in which directions an antenna will radiate, right? So for instance, if you see a dipole, right, I can tell dipole will not radiate towards top and bottom. It has a direction of maximum radiation towards actually what broadside of this. Towards this and this side, it has direction of maximum radiation, right? So that is, but what actually is that radiation pattern? That is what we are going to study, right? So today we won't go much into definitions or math or anything, right? What I'll do is I'll just try to make you understand what actually is radiation pattern, right? For that, what we'll do is I'll consider this, right, a spherical coordinate system, right? I'll consider spherical. This is z-axis, this is y, and X, right? So this is origin, right? So even though I mark X, Y, Z, I'll be considering spherical coordinate system, right? So I'm keeping my antenna, right? If I'm keeping my antenna, dipole antenna, if this is dipole antenna, if I'm keeping it at origin, right? So I'll be keeping it like this. Maybe I should be more explicit, right? I'm keeping the antenna like this. Exactly the midpoint of the antenna will be at origin. If I'm keeping the antenna like this, right? Then radiation pattern, it is nothing but what? If I consider any point which is at a distance r, right? If I consider a point which is at a distance r from this antenna, right? So this point, right? That point in spherical coordinate, I can write it as r, theta, and phi. R is this distance, right? Theta is the angle which this r makes with positive z-axis. I have to start measuring from positive z-axis, theta equal to 0, right? So this angle is theta, right? And if I can project it onto the xy plane, right? If I project it onto the xy plane, right? Right. So length of this projection, that will be rho, that we won't consider this, that rho, but this, right, angle this projection on xy plane makes with positive x-axis, that is actually called what? Phi. Right. So you know this. We have already studied this. Mahesh sir have taught you it wonderfully last time, so you don't have to struggle long. Right. So this positive x-axis is phi equal to 0. Y-axis is actually what? Phi equal to 90 degree. Negative x-axis is phi equal to 180 degree, and negative y-axis is phi equal to 270 degree, and again positive x is actually what? Phi equal to 360 degree, right? And similarly, z equal to 0 is positive z-axis theta equal to 0, right? And this xy plane, right? This xy plane is theta equal to can anyone tell me? 90 degree. Why? Because from positive z-axis I should travel, right? This much is 90 degree, theta equal 90 degree, and negative z-axis is, right? Negative z-axis is theta equal to 180 degree. So in a spherical coordinate system, r can range from 0 to infinity, right? Theta from 0 to 180 degree, phi from 0 to 360 degree, right? So if I consider all the points which are at a distance r from this antenna, right? If I join all the points, right, which are at a distance r from this antenna, I'll get a sphere, right? If I join all the points, antenna is at origin. If I join all the points which are at a distance r from the antenna, I'll get a sphere, right? Over a sphere, r is a constant. What will happen? Theta and phi will be changing, right? So now what I'm doing is, right, now just listen. So I'm keeping my antenna at this origin, right? Origin, and I'm on a sphere, right? On a sphere of some radius r. I'm considering a sphere of some radius r. A sphere is nothing but what? If I join all the points which is at a distance, constant distance from the origin, that is a sphere. So even though I've drawn it a circle, please consider it as a sphere, right? So now what I'm doing is, by keeping the antenna, if it is a dipole, at the origin, I am going to travel over the sphere with some field measuring device. So I can measure either electric field intensity, right, or else I can measure the power, right? I can either measure electric field intensity or the total power, right, at each and every point on the sphere, which means I am fixing r, right? Theta varies and phi varies. So over a sphere, for all values of theta and phi, if I am measuring the received field strength or received power, right? And if I can represent that in a diagrammatically in a 3D way, that is something called actually what? A radiation pattern, right? That is something called radiation pattern. So a radiation pattern, I'll tell you the definition now. How we will measure, how we will find a radiation pattern? You keep antenna at origin, then at some distance r over a sphere, you find the power or field intensity for all values of theta and phi. Then you diagrammatically represent it, right? for each theta phi combination, what is the power, right? If we can represent it in a diagrammatic way, that is actually what a radiation pattern. I'll show you a typical radiation pattern of an antenna, right? I'll show you a typical radiation pattern of an antenna, right? So maybe I should, yeah, 1 second. Yeah, radiation pattern. Right. So this is a typical radiation pattern. Right. What actually is this? Right. So what I've done is I have kept antenna at origin. Right. This is not of dipole. Please don't think it's of dipole. It's of some antenna. I don't know which antenna is this. Right. It's of some antenna. Right. So this is positive z-axis. Right. This is y and this is x. I'm keeping antenna at origin. Right. And then what I'm doing is at a fictitious sphere of radius r, I'm measuring the received power or field intensity, right? And for instance, for along this at a distance r, for theta equal to 0, right? Or along positive z a distance r, say this particular one gives maximum power. Then as theta and phi changes, you can see the power is reducing. So this is a radiation pattern. So for you to appreciate this, right? First, we'll try to do the same thing for half-wave dipole, right? So this is a typical radiation pattern. It has a main beam. It has side lobes, nulls, right? We want to today. Our aim is to understand what exactly is this, right? And by the end of the class, we should be able to appreciate the radiation pattern of a half-wave dipole and an isotropic radiation. That is what, if we can do that today, that would be more than sufficient. Then, with that idea, we can actually crack the remaining topics, right? So now what I'm doing is I'm keeping the, right, this is x, yeah, x, y, z. I've kept my dipole antenna at origin, right? Now what I'll do is, for convenience, first I'll consider only this say xy plane, right? I'll consider only xy plane, right? At each and every point on xy plane, right? Over that xy plane and intersection with the sphere, right? On xy plane, all the points which is at a constant distance from this, I'm going to measure what is the field strength. So what I'll do is, initially I'll come here, I'll come at theta equal to 0, right? At theta equal to 0, I'll come. I'll measure what is the power. So I noted down, right? So if it is a dipole, it's like this, right? If dipole is placed like this, I'll draw the dipole, right? If the dipole is placed like this, we know along theta equal to 0, power is, right, theta and power, right? So theta equal to 0, power is 0, right? Theta equal to 0, power is 0, right? Then if I'm gradually increasing theta, 0 less than or equal to 0 less than theta less than 90 degree, what happens? Power will increase, right? When I move for a dipole, I am telling, right? For a dipole, right? For theta equal to 0, I mark the power is equal to 0. So I am marking it using, say, a blue pen, right? The power is 0 for theta equal to 0, right? And as theta increases, I can see slowly power is increasing, right? And for theta equal to 90 degree, right, I can say power is maximum, right? For theta equal to 90 degree, power is maximum. And similarly on either sides, right? So what is the meaning of this, right? So I am measuring for theta equal to 90 degree, right? 90 degree, power is maximum, right? Then 90 less than theta less than 180 degree, what happens? Power is reducing. So this is what is happening now, right? Theta equal to 0, theta equal to 90 degree, theta equal to 180 degree, right? On both sides, on either sides, right? So how I have drawn this? It's nothing but what I'm measuring, and I'm measuring that power radiated, and I'm plotting it as actually what distance from origin, right? for instance, for theta equal to 45 degree, right? Theta equal to 45 degree, right? This is the power radiated. So that power radiated is given by this distance, right? And for theta equal to 90 degree, this is the power radiated. As the power radiated is more, the length of the segment will be more, right? So it's like a polar plot, right? So, and further, when I increasing theta equal to 135, right? So at each and every point on this, right, power is given by the distance of that point from origin, right? Power is given by distance of that point from origin. Can either be power or field intensity. If I plot electric field intensity, that will become actually what? Field pattern, right? If I plot power, power will be actually what? Proportional to square of field intensity, right? That will become actually what? Power pattern. So that is actually radiation pattern, right? So now I've done only for this plane. So what I've done is for phi equal to say plus or minus 90 degree, I varied theta from 0 to 180. Then I plotted. So similarly, for all other values of phi, right? Phi from 0 to 2 pi, right? For each value of phi, I should vary theta from 0 to 180 and find point everywhere. So what I'll get is I'll get something like this. If I complete that, I'll get a 3D plot like this. It's like actually what it's now I've shown only behind the board, right? It's like a donut, right? Donut or a medu vada or whatever. So same thing will be there above, like in front of the board, right? In front of the page, right? So that will be the radiation pattern. So it's like a donut, right? It's like a donut. Or so what happens is the direction of maximum radiation is this theta equal to 90 degree, right? And for theta equal to 0 and theta equal to 180, there are actually what? No radiation. Such points are called null, right? The direction in which no radiation is there, we call it as null, right? But for some antennas, right? For some antennas, what will happen? There will be side lobes. One main lobe will be there. We'll have maximum direction, maximum radiation, and there will be side lobes. That's what is shown here, right? So this is a typical radiation pattern. So this particular thing is called actually what? Main lobe. That is the direction of maximum radiation, right? And you can see many nulls here and all. We can see many nulls are there, which means no radiation. So these are side lobes, right? Side lobes. And the lobes which are directed to the back, we call it actually what? Back lobes, right? And others are side lobes. And this main beam, we call it main beam. So this is a particular field pattern, right? Field pattern. So in case of say a half-wave dipole, right? In case of a half-wave dipole, if you see the field, electric field will be, you can see at any given point it will be directed towards theta, right? If you're placing it along plus z, electric field will be directed towards theta. E will have theta component, right? And similarly, magnetic field, right? Magnetic field at any given time, it will be actually what? Directed towards phi. H will have phi component, right? And the entire power radiated, right? Entire power radiated will be propagating along the direction of pointing vector S. It is given by E cross H, right? E cross H. So E is along theta. E is along A theta cap. H is along A phi cap, right? So what is A theta cross A phi? It forms a right-handed system. So if you use right-hand thumb rule, if you curl your finger from E theta to H phi, your thumb is directed towards R, right? Thumb was directed towards R, right? So it is along AR cap. So in this AR cap, power will radiate. So this is in the case of a far field. Later on, we'll differentiate, right? There is far field and near field. So I'm telling in case of a far field. So for a dipole which is placed along positive z axis, right? In far field, electric field will have only theta component, right? Magnetic field will have only phi component, and the entire power will be radiated along R, right? It will be propagating along R, right? So you can either measure E, right? If you're plotting E, that is actually called field pattern, right? So E means, right? So if you're plotting electric field intensity, that is called field pattern. And if you're plotting power is actually what? Nothing but say pointing vector E cross H, right? So if you're plotting that, that is actually called power pattern. So what is field pattern? What is power pattern? What is normalized power pattern? All those definitions and the math behind this we study in next class, right? now I want you to appreciate. If you see up, like, are you able to appreciate this? So radiation pattern of a this half wave dipole will be something like this. It will be donut shape, right? If you see from top, it will be actually what, a circle. If you see this cross section, that is actually what, figure of 8, right? That is figure of 8. That is actually what donut. So now maybe I'll just tell you the definition of radiation pattern, right? So radiation pattern, it is a 3D quantity. Radiation pattern, it is a 3D quantity which actually what shows the variation, right? Which shows the variation of field intensity, right? Either field intensity or power, right? As a function of spherical coordinates theta and phi. So it's understood that for a fixed r, fixed value of r, right? So how you will find a radiation pattern? So you will keep antenna at origin, right? Then you will travel over a sphere with some measuring device. Either you will measure field intensity or you will measure the power, right? So you keep antenna at origin. So over a sphere, you will travel and measure the power, and you will note down everywhere for each value of theta comma phi, right? You will note down what is the power or field intensity. Then if you can represent it as a graph, right, a 3D representation like this, right? So in this, if you ask me for theta equal to 0, this much is the field intensity, right? This much is the field intensity, right? This vector will be field intensity vector, right? And for this magnitude gives actually what, field intensity magnitude. It's not a vector actually, right? And for theta equal to 30 degree, right? This much is the magnitude of field intensity, right? So that's how it's like a polar plot. It's like a polar plot, right? So that is radiation pattern. That is a typical radiation pattern, right? So definition is this, but I think you understood what is a radiation pattern, right? Definition is this. But now there is a problem. You can see this radiation pattern as a 3D quantity, right? 3D parameter, whatever, a 3D representation, right? But always for us to deal with paper and pen, 3D is going to be very difficult, right? So for that, what we can do is, right? One second, I will just stop sharing. Like, one second, like. Right, so I'll just share my screen. I'll just stop sharing this and I'll share my entire screen once again. Right, okay. Right, so you see here, this is how the radiation pattern, 3D radiation pattern of dipole antenna will look like. Right, this is how the 3D radiation pattern of dipole antenna will look like. Right, so maybe I'll just snip it. Right, I'll just snip it and maybe we'll right, paste it in our Word, right? So I'm just snipping it and I'm pasting it in our Word. Right. So this is how our 3D radiation pattern will look like for a dipole antenna. Right. So this is, you can see theta equal to 0, right? And maximum radiation is along theta equal to 90 degree, and again we have a null at theta equal to 180 degree, right? So this dealing with this 3D, it's going to be very difficult. So instead of that, what we can do is, right, instead of that, right, now this antenna is placed along z-axis, right? Now this antenna is placed along z-axis. So if I take two cuts, right, one cut like this, right, one cut in zy plane or zx plane, right, one cut in zy plane or zx plane, and one more cut like this, right, one more cut like this, and one cut like this, right? So if I cut like this, it will give me the top view of this, right? Sorry, it will give me, this will give me top view, right? And if I cut like this will give me actually what, side view, right? So I'll call this vertical cut as actually what, a cut along a plane, cut along a plane containing antenna, right? Containing antenna, right? And we'll call it actually what, E-plane cut. E-plane cut, right? And this one, it is actually what, along, or it's perpendicular to plane containing antenna. Antenna, and we'll call it H-plane cut. There is a reason why it is called E-plane and H-plane, so I'll explain it later. So those two cuts can explain this, right? So instead of dealing it in terms of 3D, what we'll do is we'll take two principal cuts, principal cross sections, right? So in this case, one will be top view, H-plane view will be top view, and E-plane view will be actually what, side view, right? E-plane view will be not exactly side view. If you cut through this, right? If you cut it through this, that will be E-plane view, and if you cut like this, right, like this you cut, that will be H-plane view, right? If you cut, okay. So now we'll see, we'll try and see what will be the E-plane and H-plane pattern of a dipole, right? So for dipole, what will be E-plane pattern and what is H-plane pattern? So instead of going for 3D, what we can do is we can represent the radiation pattern using two principal cuts. One along the plane containing antenna, one cut along the plane containing antenna. So in this case, it can be either ZY plane or ZX plane, right? And other one perpendicular to the plane containing antenna. In this case, it will be XY plane, right? In this case, it can be either ZY or ZX, right? Anything, right? So that along the plane containing antenna, that cut is called actually what, E-plane cut, and perpendicular to the plane containing antenna, that principal cut is called H-plane cut, right? I want you people to what, be comfortable with these terms, right? So now, if you cut this H-plane cut, it will be top view, that top view of a donut, right? Even though it's a donut, it's more like actually what, with balloon, you might have seen, we'll make apple. Have you seen that? With balloon, we are making apple. So it's somewhere it's connected here. It's not actually what hollow. So if you see from top, the top view will be actually what? So H-plane view will be, right? For dipole, H-plane view will be actually what? It will be a circle, right? Say, right, this is phi equal to 0, phi equal to 90, phi equal to 180, and phi equal to 270 degree, right? So H-plane cut will be like this. And what will be E-plane cut? E-plane cut, E-plane cut, right? You can see you are cutting it actually what, vertically you are cutting. Like this you are cutting. If you cut like this, it will be a figure of 8, right? It will be a figure of 8, right? I'll draw that, right? It will be like, so this is theta equal to 0, right? Theta equal to 90 degree, theta equal to 180 degree. So that cut will be something like this, right? So this is E-plane cut. So this 3D pattern, which is way too complicated, can be explained or represented with the help of actually what, this H-plane and E-plane pattern. H-plane is actually what? It's a cut perpendicular to plane containing antenna, perpendicular to plane of antenna, right? This one is along the plane of antenna, right? Right. So these two can represent the radiation pattern equally well, right? So instead of going for this a 3D pattern, normally what we'll do is we'll take two principal cuts, right? That is E plane and H plane, right? So I think that is understood. So now this is the E plane and H plane pattern, and this is how the 3D pattern of a say a dipole antenna will look like. What is the meaning of this? If you are placing the antenna, if you keep a receiver here along z-axis, you will not receive anything. Why? Because it is not radiating in that direction. So if you keep a receiver here, it will not receive anything. But if you keep a receiver here in this direction, right, it will receive maximum. Right, that is the case. Right, that is the case. Right. So that is the case of a dipole. Right. So in this case, dipole antenna, it's kept like this. Right. Dipole antenna is kept like this. Dipole antenna is kept like this. Right. Along z-axis. Right. Along z-axis. If you see, it will be a dot here. Right. It will be kept. Z-axis will be this. Right. So it will be kept along this. Right. Along this. Perpendicular to this plane, and this is in the plane. Right. So now this is, so you can see this dipole has a, this is a direction of maximum radiation, right? Maximum radiation, and there is a null, right? And if you see in XY plane or perpendicular to the antenna, it's omnidirectional. It's omnidirectional. It radiates equally well in all directions, right? So that is, if you are keeping this antenna anywhere on this XY plane, right, a receiving antenna anywhere on this XY plane, it will radiate equally well in all directions, right? But if you keep along z-axis or minus z-axis, right, you won't be able to receive. That is the meaning. So any doubt at this point? Any doubt? Are you able to appreciate this? Any doubt? I'll just stop presenting. Any doubt at this point? Please feel free to ask. So what we have done so far, we try to understand what is the radiation pattern, how to represent that, right? We studied the definition, and we have seen what are the two principal cuts, right? So with respect to actually what a half-wave dipole I have seen, right? Because initially itself I introduced you to half-wave dipole, and you are able to imagine how the radiation is happening from a half-wave dipole. That's why I considered that, right? So okay, now any doubt at this point? Please feel free to ask if any doubt. Okay, next point which I want to teach you is about an isotropic radiator. Right. Next point which I want to tell you is about an isotropic radiator. Right. So we'll see what is, this was asked many times in exam. Right. What is isotropic radiator? Right. So when you studied about actually what this crystal lattice and all, you might have studied isotropic and anisotropic. Right. What do you mean by isotropic? The literal meaning of isotropic. Can anyone tell me what is the literal meaning of isotropic? You might have studied it when you studied about crystal lattice and all. Right. Isotropic and anisotropic. Isotropic means, isotropic radiator means an antenna or a radiator which can radiate equally well or the same way in all directions, right? Equally well in all direction, right? That is an isotropic radiator, right? So which means it's like a point source, right? A point source, right? If there is a point illuminating source, right, it will radiate equally well in all directions, right? It will radiate equally well in all directions. So what will be the radiation pattern of an isotropic radiator? What will be radiation pattern of an isotropic radiator? For that, what you should do is, right, you should place the isotropic radiator at the origin, and you have to measure at each and every point on a sphere what is the received power or field intensity. What will be that? Can anyone tell me what will be the radiation pattern of an isotropic radiator? 3D pattern. Its radiation pattern will be, yeah, can anyone? Will be a sphere, which means in all direction the power radiated is same, right? So in all direction power radiated is same, which means, right? So in this case, in the case of a half-wave dipole, power radiated is more in actually what, broadside or theta equal to 90-degree direction. Power radiated is less in this direction, right? But for an isotropic radiator, this will be a sphere, right? Which means everywhere it will be same, right? Which means the E plane and H plane pattern, if you take any principal cuts, right, the radiation pattern will be sphere, and E plane or H plane patterns both will be similar. That will be a circle, right? That will be a circle, which means for phi or theta, right? For all values of phi and theta, right? The radiation will be same. So this is an isotropic radiator, right? So an isotropic radiator, but this is an ideal case. This is a fictitious, right? In practice, we cannot have an isotropic radiator. Any antenna which you can practically realize, right? The most easily realizable antenna is a Hertzian dipole or a half-wave dipole, right? It is not isotropic, right? It is not radiating in the along the end fire direction, right? Along the end fire direction, it is not radiating. So if this is the antenna, right, in this direction and in this direction, it is not radiating. Only in these two directions, it is radiating. In the other direction, it is radiating. But if you see the top view, right, it's omnidirectional. In all direction, it is same. But towards up and down, if you move, it's not isotropic, right? So any practically realizable antenna, it won't, we cannot realize an isotropic antenna practically, right? But what we'll do is in the upcoming discussions and all, we'll use this isotropic antenna as a reference antenna, right? We'll use this isotropic antenna as a reference antenna, right? So I'll tell you why, right? Suppose you just imagine, maybe I'll consider only 2D, right? You're keeping an isotropic antenna at origin, right? And if you see the radiation pattern, or at some distance 2 meters away, right? Say 2 meters, you are giving 1 watt power to this isotropic antenna, and at some distance 2 meters away. So you are measuring the power, right? So the pattern, right? The pattern will be something like this. No, it should have been a perfect circle. Sorry. It's like a, now I've drawn like a Vicks tablet. Please excuse me. Right. It's a perfect circle. Maybe I should erase it and draw it again. Right. So, okay, assume it's a perfect circle. So everywhere it is the same. And same 1 watt power. So it is an isotropic. Right. Right. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking same 1 watt power and I'm measuring, giving the same 1 watt power to a dipole. Right, I'm keeping the dipole here, right, and I'm measuring. What happens is, right, this dipole, this is theta equal to 0, theta equal to 180, right. This dipole won't radiate in this direction. So this is 1 watt power, right. It will try to concentrate in this particular direction, right. So what happens is, at 2 meter distance, right, in the direction of maximum radiation. This is actually what direction of maximum radiation, right, for a dipole. The green one is dipole, and this red one is isotropic radiator, right? So this is isotropic, and this one is actually what, dipole, right? So you can see it transmits more power compared to, the power is actually what, power in this particular direction, in the direction of maximum radiation for a dipole is more compared to a reference antenna, isotropic radiator. If it was transmitting equally well in all directions, right, at some distance, right, at some distance, say r, the pointing vector would have been, a power density would have been P by 4 pi r square, right? Which means this power is spread over a sphere. So it would have been ideal case, right, for an isotropic. But in the case of a dipole, you can see in some direction it is actually what, radiating more, and some other direction it is radiating less. But the total power is actually what, 1 watt in both the case. So what we will do is this isotropic radiator we will use as a reference antenna, right? Compared to isotropic radiator, how much more an antenna is transmitting in a given direction, right? That is called actually what, gain. We'll study that in next class. Those aspects we'll study in next class. So today I just wanted to introduce you to some basic idea, right? You have studied what is the radiation. You understood what is the equivalent network representation of an antenna, right? Then what is the radiation pattern? What is E-plane pattern, H-plane pattern, right? And what is a null, right? And you even know now what is the radiation pattern of a dipole and what is the radiation pattern of an isotropic radiator. Those things, if you understand today's class, that would be more than sufficient, right? So from tomorrow, we'll actually gradually catch up the pace. So if you have these ideas, right, whatever discussion we are going to take up tomorrow, it's going to be very easy. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? Any doubt, please feel free to ask. So a typical radiation pattern, it looks like this. A typical radiation pattern will look like this. It will have a main beam or direction of maximum radiation, right? It will have some nulls and it will have some side lobes. Side lobes in the sense it will radiate some amount of power in the other lobes. So this is a typical radiation pattern, right? Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt? If any doubt is there, please feel free to ask. Yeah, no one has any doubt. Please ask doubts. Okay, I assume there is no doubt, right? So please do type in your USN in chat window, right? All of you, please do type in your USN in chat window. So did you understand anything in today's discussion, from today's discussion? Loshika,
Yes, sir.
can you just tell me what are the key takeaways from today? What and all you understood from today's discussion? No, just even if it is not completely clear, if it is a vague
Yes,
idea,
like radiation pattern and all.
radiation pattern, can you just try to express what is a radiation pattern? No, in your own words, whatever you understood, please try to express that. You don't have to tell me the definition, right? What you understood, it need not be correct, no problem.
Angle, taking angles and also.
So how you will measure or obtain the radiation pattern? You have to keep antenna at origin, right?
Yes.
And on a sphere, at each and every point, you should measure the power or field intensity, right?
Yes.
And you have to graphically represent like this, what we have shown here, right? So at any given direction, the power or field intensity is given by the length of the line segment, right? Length of that particular point of radiation pattern from origin, right? It will be proportional to that, right? Are you able to appreciate that at least?
Yes, sir.
Right. And what about taking two principal cuts?
That I'm not so clear, sir.
Not so clear. Okay, fine. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Right. So I just wanted to give you some examples. From tomorrow. Actually, what you slowly get into this, and you'll be able to appreciate it better. Right. Thank you. Right. I think all of you can leave. If any doubt is there, you can ask. Any doubt? Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. You can leave.